drug discovery, it is a functionality where we have been using drug discovery and development. So when generally our drugs moves into the development phase, like we are in phase 1 2, especially in 3, so we will not be doing research on and collecting information from hospitals, one or two informations, okay? So we will be collecting n number of informations, okay? So when we are collecting n number of information, so it is very hardly, tiring to manage those data. So we have different data management tools. So if you are already aware of data management, you would know that we use a lot of electronic data capture tools, right, in clinical research. But TMF is not likely a EDC. So that's what I wanted to tell you here. Why it is standing different from an EDC tool, and why it is being considered as not as an EDC tool. Because here in the research, when we are especially in phase trial, when our research happens at the hospital, so we have hospital facing data information. So in when you are having an hospital information, okay, so what kind of data can you expect from hospital? Any answers? What kind of data can you expect in hospitals when you are doing a research? Is anybody aware? You can just use your chat options and let us make this interactive session, please. And after I give the introduction of PMF, I'll definitely give you also introduction about me. I know I have not started my introduction as a trainer in start of the call, because I want everybody to join or give 10 minutes, to candidates to join. Very good. Patient history. Giridharan has mentioned patient history, like medical history. Okay, so when you are going to talk about medical history, there are 2 points of data here, I would tell you. So, what are the 2 points of data here when we are going to talk about a medical history? So, one information is, you know, where you are going to have a whole report of a patient, and one more information is on that report, you will be particularly requiring only for information pertaining to his diabetic history, because your protocol tells you only to collect a diabetic history. So now here there are two kinds of data. One as a data set, so we are just looking only for a data as in the form of an alphabet or a numerical value, which has certain numerical and text, which is being maintained in EDC, okay, electronic data capture. But wherein, if you see in trial management system, when a research happens at the site, not actually the patient history, but you will be collecting a lot of patient or investigator relevant information to prove that they are GCP, capable. How we can able to prove investigator, that is a doctor, and he's capable enough to do a research? How can we prove it to a regulatory authority, and how we can get an approval from the government authority to do a research at the site? By proving his experience, right? So he will be having n number of experience in doing his research. So he must be having his experience in vast in oncology or in rheumatology, or in maybe I can just tell you that he will be expert as endocrinology, based on the practice what he's been doing. So, and then we have to collect this information, and we have to file this information in order to prove the regulatory authority that this person is eligible and GCP equivalent. So that's why we are using a system in place to file the CV as a whole of the investigator who signed and dated, to prove the qualification, to prove whether he has relevant experience to do the research. So here I am just talking about two types of data here. So I am little clear here. What is a trial master file? So what is a trial master file? It is not a EDC. It is a repository. So why I call this as a repository? A repository is, I'm not only going to store my data fields, data sets. I'm going to store my data fields, data sets along with the document. Like for example, if you are having a folder structure in your system, and if you want to have your personal file, your CV, your cover letter, if you want to store it, what you will do, you will just open the network drive which you are protected and save. And if you wanted to restrict it with the password, you will restrict it with the password, and you create it, save it, sign it, date it, rename it, and file it. So that, what is the functionality of the renaming when you file a document in the system? Why we should rename means when you're filing just a CV, so after filing, you just right click and you go to rename, right? A document. Why? Because that is an identity. So it will identify if you wanted to, and you forgot now where you have stored, what was your password. So you can go to the search and you can just type in CV. Since you have renamed it, the system will capture and give it to you, that information. That is an identification. So that's what we are doing here in the system. So this trial management system is a system which is capturing as in whole document. So in ICH GCP E6R2. So how many of you have heard this term, ICH GCP E6R2? See, it is not necessary that you just only have to mm, unmute and talk. You can also use the chat functionality in order to communicate. So what is ICH GCP E6R2? What is GCP? GCP, good clinical practice. So now it is a clinical means human. Okay. So it's a good practice which is available in order to make your clinical practice acceptable by all over the world. So ICH is emphasizing with the guide, and it is been furnishing with you the details in ICH GCP E6R2. Okay. So what does this E6R2 have? I just wanted to show you. Okay. So I'm just figuring out which is the best slide to start for you. So now this is a regulatory requirement topic guidance, which is taken from GCP. So here it clearly states the volume 10, chapter 5, recommendation of the content of the trial master file and archiving it from since July 2006. So before July 2006 also, they have many research around the world that, but what happened after July 2006 was they wanted to have one content to be stored and archived and manage the essential documents which are being created in the research. So what are essential documents? I just gave you one example. Okay. So what example did I give you? CV, right? Of a investigator. So now you can see every study in clinical research, if you take phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, it is going to have three differentiation. Like it is going to have a startup, conduct, and close out. So it all depends on the patient's enrollment. So before you have your patients, you do a lot of preliminary activities, and you do a lot of collection of the data in order to have your study approved, and you need to administer your drug to the patient. So that's where we will be engaged in that planning phase. So when we are in planning phase, I'm only restricting my content here as an essential documents. What kind of documents will be generated in clinical research? Generally from different stakeholders. So can you just tell me who are the stakeholders in clinical research? Stakeholders in clinical research. Does anybody have any idea what are stakeholders in clinical research? Sponsors, very good. Hemant has told sponsors. Any other try like this? Good try, Hemant. Any other try from any other person? Hemant is very interactive. Even Giridharan is interactive. What about others? So, other stakeholders in clinical research are, you have a sponsor who is owning the drug, and then you have the site where you're doing the research on the patients by an investigator. So, in order to do the research at site, you need certain approvals. So, in order to that, you have to coordinate with the regulatory authority and local or central ethics committee. It is called as an independent ethics committee or institutional review board. And then obviously we have, billion-dollar business revolving around the world, which is the CRO market, which is a clinical research organization or a contract research organization. So what they generally do when it comes to, in trial master file. So what they generally do is they will be making out a list of the documents like this. What kind of documents are collected in startup? What kind of documents are collected in conduct? What kind of documents are collected in closeout? So if you see ICH-GCP, it gives you an overview in section 8 only with 64 documents. How many documents it gives you as an overview? And here it's very less than even compared to that. Okay, so now if you wanted to get into a trial master file first, and you want to learn a system, you need to build your knowledge based on how many documents can be evolved in clinical research, where I can find these documents, what kind of documents I will be able to file it in the startup, what kind of document. So before having a site initiated or patients injected on with the investigational product, you have to select the site, you have to submit the approval and get the approval and do the training, and then you have to start the site. So these are the process. So when these are the process involved in startup, we are splitting this process with certain level of documents. So generally we have a list, and where I can take this list, where I have reviewed this list is not been prepared from ICH GCP E6R2, where I have referred this from DIA reference model 2009. So this is a reference model which is, authority for drug information. This is a non-governmental organization which has effective way of learning of filing your TMF document. So let me see whether this link is open. No, I couldn't open it. Okay, no worries. So what does this link has? So this is not having a list only limited to 10 documents or 20 documents. It is showing me a list which is worth of 1,000 or more than that document names and document types. So for example, if you are going to talk about investigator CV, at the hospital you may have a primary or physician who is a principal investigator, sub investigator, coordinating investigator, study coordinator, primary, secondary. You have a study nurse, you have an unblinded pharmacist where you will be involving in preparing the drug if it's a blinded content there. So you have different roles at the site. So generally, when you have different roles, GCP requirement is that everybody has to be collected with their experience and prove their qualification and have the GCP knowledge. So that's why DIA reference model has zones, sections, and artifacts. So let's see what are zones, what are sections, and what are artifacts. Okay. So now you can see here you have 11 zones. Can you see? So these are the first one is the zone. So what is a zone? Zone is functional role in clinical research. So how many functions are there in clinical research team? So definitely you must be knowing data management, safety management, regulatory management. Apart from that, we have laboratory management, we have statistics, we have medical writers who are CSR, study clinical study report reviewers. Okay, so we have central trial documents. So these are the documents which are common for overall the study, for overall the site. So there are trial related documents which are generated in clinical trials by project managers, project lead. So different functions will be managed by different roles. So that is called as zone. Yes? Tell me. Any question? Somebody stop me. Okay, Tanya, it was no. So here you have the zones and you have this 11 zones. And then you have the artifacts. And before that you have the sections. So here this is given as 0 1, this is given as 0 1.1, 0.1.0.2, like sections, bifurcation in zones. And then you have an artifact, like it is a 3-digit number which is a reference given by this DIA. So this is going to be a common use by all the sponsors. So if a sponsor wants to build a trial master file to manage the clinical trials which he is performing for phase 3, so where he will go and refer? He's going to refer the TMF artifact of the DIA. Okay, so DIA gets amended every year. So this was started in 2009, but the latest amended version was 2021. So DIA releases the latest versions of the zones, sections, and artifacts. So which are generally customized for individual studies. So for example, I am going to work on a study on diabetes. So now here I have zones artifacts. So I have a section called central lab testing. So I'm not going to use a lab which are present centrally, where I'm just going to use only a section which is present locally. So here I can mark this zone as not applicable because I am not going to file any document, and these are my customizations. So this is called done in the planning phase. So which is applicable, which is not applicable. So who does this? There is a role called an owner, TMF owner. So he is like a project manager for TMF, for that particular tool. So he has a fair idea how to build these zones when you have a new study in the system. So he will sit with your clinical leads. So who are these leads? Clinical leads are called as regional leads. So if you are doing a clinical trial in 11 regions, so every region have different regulatory requirements. So do you know that your project manager is going to be make sure all 11 regulatory requirements and he's having it in fingertips? No. So he will sit with a meeting with the regional leads because obviously they are from that region and they're working in the region. They know the regulatory practice requirement for a TMF there. So before marking this as not applicable, they will discuss with the clinical leads and they decide and come up with the zones, sub, artifacts, and etc. So until here, everybody understand, like in trial master file, how basically in planning phase we will be able to think about creating a system and what documents will be filed, what documents will not be filed, where we'll be getting a fair idea from DIA reference model. Every sponsor will use a DIA reference model and they customize it according to the sponsor need. So for example, I'm working for a company called Pfizer. So I take the DIA reference model version 12 because Pfizer has approved the DIA version 12, and I will customize it according to the Pfizer requirement. And then I will give this to all the study which has been using in Pfizer. And you have a TMF owner. He first has to be trained on this DIA version 12, because in this study we majorly are going to use only files documents stored as per the version 12 of the DIA. Understood everybody? Yes, no? And then we move into the conduct phase. So what happens, we are just planned. So now I'm just going to take you through a separate presentation, guys. So just give me a minute. I'm just going to stop share. So I hope I'm stopped sharing my, I've already stopped shared my screen, right? Or
Yes,
can you
ma'am.
still are you still able to see my screen? Kiran, okay, thank you for that confirmation. I'm just not a great person using this Zoom, you know, maybe. Hmm. Okay, I just stopped shared my screen now. So I'm just gonna take you through one more presentation that is only specific to DIA reference model. Okay. Just give me a minute. Yeah, now I just started sharing my screen. Can you just able to see the screen?
No, ma'am.
Maybe it's loading.
Try master file reference model. Yeah.
Is it? Can you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So see, DIA is, authority, a non-profitable organization. So who will be working for DIA? So DIA is a model which is created by ICH. So ICH is being run by regulatory authorities like US FDA, European Union, Japan, Health Canada. So all these representatives will be there available with, ICH. And ICH already told a requirement that we need a reference model. So they brought in from ICH this enhancement called DIA. And what did they do? They just volunteered, and they take from the European directory from ICH GCP section 8. Okay, so they referred all these sections, and they were able to figure out only a few documents which are mentioned for the trial. But if you see, when we are doing an actual trial with a phase 1 or phase 2, we have lot of documents every day and every night. It's been loaded in your system with from different sites for different functions, since because you're busy creation, approval, and filing of the documents. So that's why they found that there is some gap, and they need to give some support. So these regulatory authorities have subject matter experts. Okay, so they have framed a standard content, standard naming, standard structure, and standard metadata. Universal data of the data, which can be used by all the sponsors for all the trials happening on the world. So that's what they wanted with the help of TMF referencing model. Standard matlab, it's common. Everybody should use the same name, same content, like a CV name. Name it as a investigator CV. Name it as a sub investigator CV. Okay, standard structure. So when you are filing a CV, you will not only file only the CV and the name, you will also file the date when the CV was signed, because you ensure whether the doctor is filed the latest CV as per GCP, and it is been editable in the readable version, legible, and everybody in that region can read. It is available in different language, because if you are doing a clinical trial in China and you have an FDA, if you submit a CV which is in Chinese, do you think it is accepted and it is standard? So there we have to go for translations. So we first will translate from Chinese to English, and then we translate that CV from whatever is there in that English to Chinese. So it the Chinese and the back translation of English to Chinese is matching. So it is confirmed with the certified translator, and we frame this structure. And also we have a data towards the data. Like metadata means, if you have a CV, you have a standard naming conversion like an artifact number which has zone subsections, an artifact, and then you have the document name, you have the document date, document language, whether it is signed, what date it was signed, yes, no. So these are the things which you will have this as a metadata, data towards the data. So these are standard data. So in, if you see, different attributes are there for a documents, like I told you, name of the document, protocol number of the study, because this CV belongs to a investigator located and working for one protocol number called AXZ123 in China. So now whoever investigator is working in China will be having four standard data attributes: protocol number, site number, country name, and document name or a artifact number. So this is the data which is standard with all the CVs available in the particular TMF. Apart from that, you have some attributes which change specific to document, like a document date, because a document cannot be created on the same date for all the CVs available in China. Is it possible? Is there a possibility? No, definitely there will never be a possibility like that. So now, like this, they started working on common data attributes, common naming conversions, and then they brought in this, like they listed the important stakeholders like sponsors. They listed the important stakeholders like investigators. They listed the important stakeholders like collaborators, like CROs, vendors, who can be a vendor, central lab. If you're going to use as a central lab as a Covance or LabCorp, so he will be considered as your vendor in the study. Or if you're going to have any technical vendor, like if you are going to have a Paraxel for imaging, then it will be a technical vendor. Or you are going to be having EDC based on Oracle, TMF based on Viva Vault. So Viva Vault is actually an application developer. So TMF has different vendors. It's been created by different vendors and it is being used universally by all the sponsors. So how many vendors are there in TMF? We have n number of vendors, but very commonly used vendors are two: Viva Vault wingspan. So these are the two common vendors which are used in the globe for major of the studies. Okay. And then you have regulatory authorities. So who is the regulatory authorities? Those are the one without them approving, reviewing, if they don't want to approve your drug, you never want to do any research. Okay. So based on all these requirements only, they frame this standard content, naming, structure, metadata. Okay. So as I told you, 2009 it was started. See, in 2010, 11, 12, you have different versions where coming up in the market from DIA, because the TMF market was blooming only after 2010 in India, and it was very much started in India with pharma giants in 2012 in India. So after 2012, so now it's been how many years? It's been 12 beautiful years. We have so many changes which has launched there in the market for TMF. We have so many vendors in vendor like Viva Vault. We have so many versions of the application which can be used as user friendly for sponsor requirement. Sponsor wants to use that system in a different view, and he wants to see a different big data analytics, different dashboard requirements. So you have an advanced version available in Viva Vault which shows you the different analytical view, where you can see how many documents are filed, not filed, pending to file. Like that, it gives you a breakup superficially. Okay. So like that, they have been building up, developing, and mainly they have been using two regulatory authorities as MHRA and FDA. MHRA is from Japan and FDA is from US. Okay. So this is how it looks. So DIA reference model. I just wanted to show you this slide basically. Can you able to see it, guys? So you can see zone, section, artifact. So zone is given with one single digit, section is given with 2 digits, artifact is given with 3 digits. And you can see 11 zones. Right now we have even 12 zone, 13 zone added, because here we had statistics, but later now we have you know different level of statistics done in clinical trials, and we also have lab imaging done for research involving oncology, right? Apart from the laboratory testing, they do a lot of imaging trials. So we have, based on the requirements, now we have 13 zones, sections, and artifacts. So now in this zone you can just see, okay, this is an in trial master file plan. So this is a artifact. Okay, so in trial management, it comes into the falls into the section of oversight. So when you want to do a oversight of your trial, what is very important? Your management plan. So you need to have a plan in start of your trial, how you're going to manage your TMF. So you have the artifact, created this and filed this. What the document should have, this DIA gives you also a definitions, and also it gives you an alternate names, because certain companies call it in different names. Okay, so until here, any doubt? Just want to give you a pause. Any doubts? Yes, no?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. Okay. So you see artifact name, alternate names, and definitions, which I have already explained to you. So here it also tells you in your trial you can set up this as recommended or not recommended, optional, not applicable, based on your customization and need of your study. So this is done with your CL because they know the regional requirements better. So the TMF owner sits with the CL and they fill in this section of the DIA and start of the trial. Okay. Okay. So this is in regulatory document. So this document is used by regulatory affairs people in order to file their applications to get their licenses. So it is a CTD. So now it is also an electronic version of CTD. So right now in TMF, you can see how you can file this CTD electronically and you can merge it with the TMF. So right now we are into an era where you can merge two different systems. Interface can also be done with TMF model. So TMF is not required only to be stored in that system. If you are already storing a file in a different system, you can interface it and you can make that hyperlink available here. So if you click that hyperlink and if you have that access from that system, you can able to view the document in the system. So that is an interface. Okay. So see, generally TMF is actually an ocean. So generally this is a system. So what we do in the system is we just get a document right now. I have a document called site contact details. So now I am a TMF agent sitting in Indian office working for a company called a CRO in India. And now I have the study specific access with your world. Now what will my daily job roles and responsibilities from the basic role or a fresher role? So I will be interested in collecting documents pertaining to the study or the site facing documents. So you have dedicated specialists like you, they will be allocated to different zones so that they will have an overall idea what kind of documents are filed in that particular zones. And immediately they will go to a folder called 5.1.1 in the TMF and they file the site contact details. As soon as they get a form having date, column in the header mentioning site contact details. Do you understand what is the role? So they need to have an access to the TMF. They need to know and go and search for this artifact from the master list, which we call it as a DIA reference model of your company. Go and file it. So the filing practice will be given by you to you when you reach an organization to use a system, how a document is being filed. So it can also be practiced in a simple advanced Excel sheet. It's not like a very tiring role where you just need to only do it in a system. Okay. You can do it in an advanced Excel tool also. You can just have a document, have some attributes with some clicks and upload it and you can able to see those documents. Okay, so it is possible for you to show as a practical hands-on how the industry setup works. What if you are applying for a role of a TMF? Okay, so basically what they are right now looking for even freshers. Early role in 26, 2010, 2013. They only were looking for experienced people who has site information, site level knowledge, who have worked in site facing documents. But right now the load is very heavy, because of the regulatory requirements, a lot of versioning and things, many document flow. So they just give the training on the filing and they give you access and you just start filing. And that role is called as indexing. What is called as indexing. So you generally go and index a document, and after the document is allocated as per the attributes, you submit it to a second person. That is the person who is not filed the document and not created the document. He's an independent role and he's performing the quality check. So he will go and check the quality of the document. And if he finds all the document attributes and content are matching and you don't have the document already filed in the system as duplicate, they go and activate the document, and then once it activates, all the stakeholders will be able to see the document in TMF. So these are the process breakups which you will be involved. Like you will be initially in indexing team, later moved to a quality team, then you can also be moved for a later role like a TMF owners, TMF leads, zone leads. So you have TMF managers, so you can also grow when you just hit this industry in TMF. It's not like your growth is not going to be stagnant. It's going to be stagnant. Okay. So with this, I just want to end up my conversation here on TMF. So I've just given you a lot of GAN. What is TMF? How does it work? Where that is basic comes up from? What is the data requirement for this TMF to operate and work? So everything we have just seen. So if you just have any questions, so this is the analytical view. The Viva wall system will show you. Okay, like okay, this is too much of information, not required maybe for you. So I have created this referring to a lot of this content, and I created this document. And so here there is an option where you just can go to the download TMF, where you can just navigate to a advanced Excel, but this system is not inbuilt with an advanced Excel, so I will not be able to show you this. But maybe future, when you just join the course, you can able to see the advanced option, how to file a document in a system using this referencing model. Okay. Okay, yes, so that's it from my end. If you have any questions, and we have last 15 minutes, and you can just come up with your questions, please. Or you can also use the chat box to write your questions. So guys, I was just giving a pause so that you can open up, but nobody opened up. So maybe I just wanted to ask you, basically, what did you understand from this today's session? Anybody have any views? You can also type in the chat box, please. What did you understand from this session? Amol, thank you for shooting up that question. But it is actually a backend process which has been done by programmers to integrate this interface and make the integration available after it is tested and approved. So when we are working in TMF, we'll be seeing an hyperlink as in CTD, ECTD, where if you just click it, you will it will take you through the system where an ECTD is being filed for your company. Because ECTD is not a document which you can download, and it's not a small document. It is like a very huge document. Okay, like sometime it can go up to thousands to 10,000 pages also, based on the information about your drug research, what you have done on your drug product and everything. So that's why they have a different process and build up a different system to file that CTD. So basically, you cannot download and file it. When we were trying to do it, we had a lot of bugs in TMF. So we have just given this interface for CTD. So not only CTD, like we have come up with a lot of interfacing system right now, like monitoring reports. So monitoring reports are generally managed in CTMS, Clinical Trial Management System. So that will be an hyperlink of a CTMS system. So if you are a TMF agent, you'll be having access to the CTMS system, and also to the ECTD system, so that you can able to view the document from that angle and approve and review that documents and make it available for the clients or the stakeholders. I hope I was clear. So we have trial management plan. So in that, if you have some integrations, that will be mentioned in the trial management plan as a document itself. Okay, such requirements will be there in the plan. Thank you, Amol. Any other question?
Anyone having any more questions, please ask.
And that was a very innovative question, Amol. Keep it up. Okay, so if you guys don't have any questions, so are we good to end the topic right now? So before we end, I can just introduce myself. I'm so sorry, I forgot to introduce. I'm RB Sultana and I have completed my master's in biotechnology, and I'm basically reside in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Have close to 15 plus years of experience in the field of clinical operations, worked in different trial management system. Right now working as a clinical lead in a renowned organization in Bangalore. That's it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day, guys. Have a great weekend as well. Thank you. Bye.